Hi, everyone. My name is Adriana. I'm one of the academic success coaches in the Tutoring and Testing Center. And today what I wanted to talk to you all about is just how to write an email to a professor, right? Because I know sometimes that can be very anxiety provoking, especially if this is your first time having the professor, or even you don't really communicate with the professor as much. So I'm going to give you a step-by-step process of what an email should look like to a professor, but also some do's and don'ts as well. So the first thing that is really important to take in consideration and keep in mind is that your email needs to be as professional as possible. And the reason why is because when you're writing an email to a professor, it's going to be completely different from texting your friend or calling or texting your family, for example. So you don't want to add a lot of emojis in your email, and you don't want to add too many exclamation points as well. And typically, when you are writing up the subject line, you want to clearly state what you're asking your professor in order to get your needs met, right? And that's important because when you're writing a clear subject line, the professor is able to kind of really understand why you're even emailing them and also what you are asking them in the email. So let's take, for example, you have questions about a chemistry lecture. So one possibility of a subject line that you could write down is, as we're going through, inquiries regarding chemistry lecture, right? And this is still going back to why you're emailing the professor, and also helps the professor really understand the purpose of your email. And typically, as you're drafting out the email, you want to really start off with greeting the professor and address them by the title that they prefer you to call them as. So typically, if your professor asks you to call them Dr. or Professor so-and-so, you want to put down hello, Dr. or Professor so-and-so. And typically that really gives you like a really warm welcoming and you're greeting your professor. I know sometimes there's also some professors that allow you to call them by their first name. However, if they don't give you that permission, we always recommend you to address them by either doctor or professor. Now, finally, as you're writing out the email, you want to make your email as short, sweet, and simple as possible. And you want to make it really clear and concise. So, and the reason why we say this is that you don't want to write a really long email because unfortunately, some professors may overlook some of the details or the information that you're writing up in that email or describing. And also, not only that, it can get really difficult to read after the third or fourth paragraph. So we recommend writing either a paragraph or two paragraphs of your email. So like going back to what we're saying, if we had questions about a chemistry lecture, and if you wanted to schedule an appointment with a professor, you could say, hello, Dr. So-and-so. I hope all is well, and clearly state why you're emailing them. So I'm emailing you because I have questions regarding the chemistry lecture. I'm making this up as we go, last Wednesday. Would it be possible, based on your availability, to meet with me based on a day and time that works best for you? And the reason why I included this, especially since based on your availability, is because you don't want to come off too demanding from a professor, especially because we all know professors are very busy too. They're not only teaching classes, I know some are really involved in research. They do additional things, and our programs are also on campus as well. So you want to ensure that you're showing that not only are you flexible, but you're really recognizing that the professor is very busy, and whatever time that they have based off of your schedule as well works for you. And finally, once you do that, I highly recommend, I tend to do this a lot whenever I write emails. I want to thank the professor for their time. This is going back to the fact that they're really busy. They have hectic schedules, but also you're also looking forward to their response. So you can include, thank you so much for your time. And I'm looking forward in your email. And see, very short, very concise. It was only maybe about 4 sentences. And this is kind of what we're aiming for when it comes to these types of professional emails to your professor. So finally, you want to end it with either thank you can say sincerely, and then you can put down your name. And as you can see here, I have like my email signature. So you can create an email signature, but also if you would like to, you can include your personal information, whether your email address or your phone number. And that's case by case. That just depends on whether you would like to do that or not. So that is how you write a professional email to your professor. So if you need help in regards to that, or if you need help with any other additional facets of college life, whether it comes to being more organized, time management, or either balancing school life and personal life, please make an appointment with the academic success coach. Thank you all.